Boy, tell me what you like, cause you know I ain't the place. See, it's been way too long.
5, 4. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Hashtag I'm Just Saying. I am MemeMichelle, and this is my guest panel. I'll, introduce them in a minute. I want to say thank you for joining us for another episode, and just thank you for, always being here. You are my studio audience, so I need y'all to get engaged, get connected, post your questions, everything, because today is going to be a great show. Don't laugh at these over here, okay? This is my guest panel. I'm going to let them introduce themselves today. We're going to start from the young side and work our way on over to the people who got sense.
I'm JJ, the live nephew.
I am Chi.
I'm Tiffany.
Alan.
Yeah, these are the Allens, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So today, let me tell you what we're drinking. First, give me the like. Hit the like if y'all in, if y'all can hear us, all of that. Like button. Yeah, we good? All right, it's working. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are drinking. Didn't I say? It happens every show. Turn the dang on volume down. I can't cuss today because I got the young generation in here for their perspective. But today, they are drinking just simply lemonade because they 18, 19. I ain't got time to be going to jail for them. Get your cocktails while we get our cocktails and drink responsibly. We are drinking an amaretto lemonade. Taste so vision. Y'all get y'all a sip of that. Yes. But let me tell y'all what's in it. Amaretto Ciroc, a little amaretto, the Simply Lemonade, and top it off with a little champagne. We're using Verde today because that Verde is like $5. And it's $4 and some change at the Walmart. Don't sleep on Verde, y'all. And look, you don't even need a cork. It just goes. So, yeah. Thank you to my cousin that lives overseas. She hit me to the Verde. So, like I said, don't forget to interact. And now let's talk about this topic. Are y'all ready? Today, party people in the place to be, we are going to be talking about Starbucks. Boycott or not. Now, being an advocate Starbucks drinker, I did the math on how much money I spent on Starbucks. We have to understand the power in the dollar. First, let me say that I believe Mr. Starbucks, because that's what I'm going to call him because I don't remember the man's name. I believe Mr. Starbucks did a pretty good job in how he handled it. If y'all believe he did a pretty good job, that's cool. He over there doing what he doing. That's what kids do. If you think Mr. Starbucks did a good job, hit the like button or the heart button. If you think he didn't do a good job, I want you to hit that angry face button. I think he did a good job. But being an avid Starbucks drinker, I did the math, and I probably spent a week at Starbucks $65 a week. I didn't do the year, and I know Weezy probably spent more than me. But you don't know when you just driving up talking about, can I have a venti mocha frappuccino, please? Or whatever the special frappuccino. Because I'm a frat kind of girl. And if you add a little espresso, you frat?
Yeah.
Everybody here, we do. See, and she drinks lattes. Starbucks, we love you, so I'm glad you're getting it together. But how did the news of what happened at Starbucks affect y'all? You want to start with the kids. How did it affect you?
I mean, it really didn't affect me because I don't drink Starbucks like day to day like that. Some of the kids at my school may be the ones who go all the time, but it didn't affect me like that. It was just like, all right, something else happened. We just want to see what's going to happen with it. So,
And how did it affect you? How did it make you feel for those two young men to walk into Starbucks and get arrested for no reason?
Now, so personally for myself, it didn't affect me, but I have brothers who look a lot older than they should, and they're just, huge black grown men to be. And it doesn't matter that it was in Starbucks because it just affects me because it's like,
It could happen.
if they allow that there, where else could they allow it? And it could be my brothers or it could be just the wrong people.
How did it affect y'all? How did you feel?
I mean, I think I'm a little indifferent between the both because I do go to Starbucks and sometimes I do work there and I see other people working there. So I think that it could have been an isolated incident. And I know we've had many isolated incidents, but I think that...
Me?
Everybody.
Oh, they say they can't hear y'all. Y'all got to speak up.
I think that it was an isolated incident considering that, you know, it hasn't happened before. Not to say that it was more publicized this time, and it probably has happened before in other Starbucks or any McDonald's or, you know, any other place. But I think that because people do go work there and it's like a social place, you don't know how many people that go into like coffee shops.
Yeah.
They go into coffee shops and they work and they, you know, picture they either drinking coffee or they're just meeting friends. And they just happen to get, you know, happen to be those people that got caught.
What you think, Weezy? Because you didn't boycott. You didn't stop drinking the Bucks. You was. I heard you still had that infamous green straw. I'm just saying.
When I first heard about it, I wasn't really surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I heard a video came out, and so I gave it actually a couple of days before I watched it because I already knew what happened. So
He didn't want to stop drinking in Starbucks, so he didn't want to watch that video.
So it was pretty much, you know, here we go again. That's how it went.
Here I go again. Here we go again. So, how do you feel about the way Mr. Starbucks handled the situation, and do you think Starbucks handled the situation properly? How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, how else could he have handled it? Like, what else was him? He handled it good. He handled it better than somebody else would have handled it. But
I agree.
nothing really happened. They didn't do nothing. It wasn't nothing wrong. Like, at the end of the day, it's business. He trying to make money. So either he could have been like, all right, yeah, whatever. It's just two black dudes. They got wrongfully accused. Oh well. Or he could, all right, let me call them in. Let me talk to them. Let me close these shops down. Now he finna make way more money. Because a whole bunch of black people finna start messing with Starbucks. Hey, that's
You think? How would you think, Cheech?
I mean, I think his name's Kevin. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Kevin Johnson.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm going to call him Mr.
I mean,
Starbucks.
Starbucks works too. But I think it's like, I feel like it was a business move, which is smart. I mean, you kind of have to, like, aside from him being white or black, it's a business, so you kind of have to move in the right direction. But I feel like he could have, like, he did personally speak to the two men, but he could have addressed whoever called 911, I think it was a woman, the manager. I would have liked it if she was either fired or put through, like, kind of how if you're an alcoholic, you need to be put through classes. Like, she needs to
Like a
be
sensitive training.
yeah,
But-
sensitive
Yes,
training, yeah.
We'll get to that because do you think that if racism is in your heart, I mean, we can't God can change anybody. You know, a situation can change anybody. She might look back and be like, "That's screwed up what I did," but it's one day. We'll get to that. What you feel? Oh, you got.
We've been getting the feedback that definitely a business move.
Okay.
They don't feel like it was something that
Yep.
they did.
Sincere.
It was strictly a business move. And someone said that the manager was fired.
Okay.
I saw that she terminated herself from the company, which means different than being terminated.
Yeah.
They allowed her to separate herself from the
Yeah.
company.
Now,
That's
I-
different.
I get that, like, it's like everybody's mad because it wasn't, like, sincere. But, I mean, you can't get sincerity out of everybody, so I think that instead of, like, begging for him to be sincere, we just need to mess with their pockets and make them care.
I don't know if it was sincere. I'm gonna get their take on it first, then I'll go with me.
Well, I think that he made a business move, as we all should in business. But I'm more concerned of, because you've arrested these two black individuals, what's going to happen to them? That's on their record. Like, is that going to be expunged? What's going to happen with them? So that's my concern. I'm not really worried about.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen with them.
I thought they got their release.
They got released,
But
but
you have a,
They-
if they
don't you have a
were,
mug shot and everything. You got
I don't know if
fingerprinting
they
and all
did.
that. Did they do all that?
I don't know, but I know if I'm gonna let you say your take on it, then I'm gonna come back to that because I know it's about to pop off.
When he, I guess you talking about when he first gave her apology.
How do you feel about the way he handled the situation, and do you think he handled it properly?
Yeah, when I initially heard it, I thought, oh, I mean, that was the first person I've seen that actually acted that quick.
I own it.
You know, and as far as sincerity, you know, who knows what's in his heart,
Right.
you know. But I thought it was the right move. I thought it was quick. It was, almost the same next day, same day. I'm not
I think
sure.
it was like it happened
a
on
day
a
or so.
Saturday
Yeah.
and it came out on a Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not too often you get a CEO of a company that big, that
Yes.
many franchises to act that quick. And as far as him, shutting down the Starbucks, I thought it was a good move. I didn't know he only had like 8,000, but the ones that he do have, I thought it was a good move.
Because Starbucks is a franchise. Let's be clear. They're like, I work at Blue Line. James Alexander Salon belongs to me, but my suite is located inside of the Blue Line Salon Studios. Blue Line Salon Studios is a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do inside of James Alexander Salon is a reflection of the Blue Lion family. So if I do something out of line, to me, it's a reflection of them. And I appreciated Mr. Starbucks, because that's what I'm going to call you, Mr. Starbucks. He came straight out and was like, I take full responsibility. It's a reflection on me. And I have to rewrite my policies, because although Starbucks is a franchise, he said, although Starbucks is a franchise, it's still my face. It's still me. So at first I was upset that it took him from Saturday to Monday to say something, until a girlfriend of mine came up to me who works in corporate America, and she was like, look, it don't happen that fast. Got to go through the legalities of it. Excuse me, y'all. Has to go through the legalities of it and talk with his attorneys. And then it made more sense to me. It made more sense. So how do you think the general population handled the situation?
I think they handled it pretty well. I mean, I think that, of course you have to stand up for something, unless you'll fall for anything.
You better believe it.
So I think that, people act accordingly. I think that everybody, because we're been on so much of a race card issue in a sense, I think that maybe boycotting, him coming out saying something, has actually made a difference.
Yeah.
I think there's probably more. We have a long way to go anyway, regardless how you look at it.
Long way to go.
But I think that, everybody acted accordingly as they should. And I think they did a good job at, trying to rectify the situation.
Because, okay, do y'all think, because, where I'm going to start? Okay, so the two young men come in. They ask to use the restroom. The lady said, are you going to buy something? They say, well, no, not yet. We're waiting on our third party. They have a seat. 2 minutes later, the police come. That means she called as soon as they walked in the door. But there used to be a time where we have channel 13, we have channel 39, we have channel 2, we have channel 11, and whatever they put on the news, and then if you had cable, you had CNN, you had Fox News. Whatever they put on the news, that was the depiction of black people.
Right.
That was the depiction of Spanish people. That was the depiction of Asian people. I'm not just going to say it's just us. But now everybody has a cell phone, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has a cell phone. So when you do something, the first thing this young man going to do is hold his camera.
That's right.
And you're able to see. We now can have the real news. This news
Right.
that we're getting now
news.
is real. What they say.
You do realize the protest sparked what Starbucks did.
Absolutely. Because he's shutting down 8,000 stores. Okay. First of all, let me just say this. I don't know how the Starbucks was in your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, when I left Sunday morning to go to church, where there was usually a line wrapped around the building, it was like a ghost town. I said, well, maybe everybody overslept. Then, when I came back home from church, I passed 3 Starbucks. And it was like a ghost town. People, know the power of your dollar. Not only did it spark that, it sparked another young man, I don't know if y'all saw it, another young man who wanted to go to the restroom. He asked for this particular Starbucks had a restroom code. They told him no. He had to order his stuff first. Who wants to take their coffee or their pastry in the bathroom? Not me. We don't do that. That'll be all clear. We don't do that. So he waited outside the restroom, and another young man came out. He was white. I have plenty of white friends. I love you guys. But he asked the man, and he videoed him, and he didn't have a problem. He was like, you use the restroom? They gave you the code? He said, oh, sure. He said, did you have to buy something first? Oh, no. I'm about to buy it now. So he was like, so is it a color thing that I can't use the restroom without buying something, but you gave him the code? And he was arrested. I just saw a young Puerto Rican young man. He was in the Coles. And they said, sir, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. And the young man was like, why? He's like, because there's not enough of us to watch you.
Girl, shut up.
There is so much racism, but yet humans are tired too. The human race is tired. It is not just us that are tired. There is time for change. We have to change, because I can't worry about him when he goes somewhere. I can't worry about her when she goes somewhere, but they're going to make the change. Like, how do y'all look at racism? We're going to talk about racism, placism, and classism. James, tell them how old you are.
I'm 18.
Chi, tell them how old you are.
I'm 19.
Okay.
Going on 20.
So how do y'all feel about racism in America? Did it even register with you guys in the beginning?
I mean, with me, yeah, because I was in like a mentoring group, and all we did was talk about slavery and racism and everything, how we should portray ourselves outside. But like now, all my friends, we kind of like older. I mean, we're not as old as, you know, we can be, or we don't know as much as we think we know, but we older, so it's just like, man, if I don't got no problem with you, then you don't have no problem with me. Like, I used to trip off my white homies saying the N-word and stuff like that. Now, my bro get in the car, we listen to the music. If it come on and he say it, I'm like, all right, bro, it's whatever. Like, it's not even that. As long as you ain't saying it to me like how you know, yeah, being disrespectful, then I'm cool. Like, I'm just trying to chill. Everybody's about positive vibes.
So y'all don't, so what I'm asking, the question I'm trying to ask, you guys don't look at color.
No,
Nah, I don't.
When I didn't
This
start,
generation does not.
I didn't start looking at color until I was about 17, because it's like you don't
It's
grow
people.
up thinking that it should be like that. You're just, everything's equal. But now it's like, as you grow up, you see like people handle things differently depending on what race you are, your complexion. I've got the better end of the stick for now until like, you know, they don't care about the lighter color. It's just black. All they see is wide nose and big lips. And
Tell them about your wrestling story.
yeah, so when I was probably about 15 going on 16, and I'm at a state for wrestling. I ended up losing my first year, getting 6, and I'm thinking it's because this white girl I'm wrestling, she's just better than me. I was like, oh no, Pop, she got the takedown, she was good, but really, what my coach told me, and he's white, he told me, and then my dad told me that most of the other refs there, they were like, it's more than that. It was behind the scenes. It was a racial thing.
And that was your white coaches that told you that,
That's
right?
white coaches that told me that. Not just because they like the little black girl. It's because they're back there. They're in the
They're more
hospitality.
experienced.
They're more experienced.
And so what I try to tell the kids is, I believe the children are going to change the dynamics of how America is right now.
We can't change it if y'all don't like do nothing. Like it's
But when I say that, I mean, like, you have 3 kids, right?
I think that your generation, and I have two kids that are older than you, but I think that because you all are so positive and you don't see the color that people see that are our age and older than us, I think that the fact that, in an example, the gun violence that happened in Florida, you all are the face of today, and you all actually changing things. You all are being proactive, because to me, had that not happened in Florida, we would have still been going down the same path.
Yeah.
We still had
schools did a big
shootings. We
walkout
still
and
had,
everything.
yeah, they did a big walkout on Friday, didn't they?
So I got something to say.
This is beautiful, the way he worded it.
What's
it
his
went
name?
and moved up, so I can't see who it was
You
now.
can scroll back on yours.
Mine is not picking it up as fast. But he said, no, Latanya?
Latanya.
She said, though they are the generation of change, we are the generation of wounds.
Yes, and that was the point I was going to try to make, is that, okay, my mother and her mother, my mama grew up where you couldn't drink out of the same water fountain. And she watched the change. She was able to see Barack Obama become president. And I remember her crying in the bed like, I can't believe that we have a black man in office.
That's right.
We give the millennials a very hard time, but the millennials are fearless. Sometimes to a fault, because they're willing to just jump out the plane without a parachute, and whatever happens, happens. Most millennials that are out of college and they work, our generation, we got a job, we retired, we paid into our pension, and we had a 401k. If they don't like, if they feel like they're not climbing up the ladder within 3 to 5 years, they chunk that company to dues and they move on. It's a lot of millennials.
We know.
Yeah, they move on. They don't understand.
You're the ones managing them.
Yeah.
I mean, time's not hard for us like that though, like, cause y'all.
And that's the point we're trying to make.
Like, y'all
We
started
worked
way
really
harder.
hard. I don't have children, but I have you. We worked really hard because we didn't have much. I watched my mom work 3 jobs. So, because we call you guys not to be funny, but we call you the generation of entitlement. You have an entitlement spirit because it's not that you feel like, why I can't have it. You just don't understand.
That's right.
Because
they
everything
don't
is
want
so
you to have it.
accessible.
I learned the hard way, cause you know what happened with football. Like,
Yeah.
I came from like an all black school, and I switched over to a predominantly white school, and I got to the team. I'm not even like, it's not even hard. Practice not hard, and they expected me to just give up. So my sophomore and junior year, I played on varsity, and then I'm going in my senior year, and I don't play at all. And I realized, like, all right, it's really politics, because the boy that
That's
had
when
in
they
front of me,
understand.
he was
That's
a junior, he was white, and his daddy was something
He gave
to
some
do,
money.
something to do with the school. And he gave him some money, and they
And
was
so
like, "We gonna put him on."
it's like I feel like our generation has a sense of entitlement. They do, but I feel like it's up to like you guys' generation to remind us and make us learn that work ethic in order to have your viewpoints.
But in order for us to help you,
We have to be
and
willing to accept
anybody,
it.
there you go. Anybody out there that's 18, 21 on down, in order for us to help you, you have to listen to us. You have to take the advice that we give you, because the stuff that we say, we're not just saying it because we want to talk out the side of our necks, in the words of Cameo. We're telling, because we went through, I remember the first time I heard somebody white call a nigga albino. It was my instructor in cosmetology school, and I was just like, what? What? You understand what I'm saying? So let's get back to the topic at hand.
It's so hard to like stay on one thing.
That's because
It's a big issue.
it all kind of coincides together. Because when y'all were talking about the young black men that got arrested, they about to be rich. Let me say that. First of all, no. Here's why. Here's why. For they did not know, they judged a book by its cover. You know, we used to always tell my nephew, don't grow your hair out, you know, don't sag your pants, because you're judged by your appearance. That lady judged those 2 young men by appearance, not really realizing they're real estate tycoons.
Real estate. That's right.
And finance majors. And they graduated and they were alphas. And they were well-to-do. And they were waiting on a nice white man that cussed everybody out. Asked them what the F were they doing. All they were trying to do was wait on me. What did you do? Oh, this is wrong. This is messed up. But I say all that to say is that you're judged by your appearance. You should not be, but you are.
Because he had on sweats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be like
Regular Joe.
why
One of
can't
them
you
was- I think
be
one of them
like
was
a
cute.
person of color, be comfortable like everyone else? Like,
Because we don't have the complexion for the protection. Let me just say that. Not only that, now they're going to be rich. I digress. And want me to tell you why? Because y'all can't talk to each other. Y'all got to talk to the people.
I ain't doing that.
They have had national exposure
Yes, they
because
have,
of this.
yeah.
That is they had free advertisement. They had to go to jail for it. But now, everybody, I want that realtor that was on Starbucks to help me. Congratulations, fellas. You're about to be rich.
Yeah, I like the part that they didn't trip out.
Yeah, they handled themselves so accordingly.
Very cool about
They,
it.
they
was like, all
walked
right.
out, they was like, whatever you need. Because they're smart.
and I watched his Good Morning America.
Oh, my, and
video.
well
He said-
articulated.
Very
He said,
articulated.
what did he say? He was like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like, something about good knows good and bad knows bad, or something like that.
What I like that they did, they said, we want to be they showed self-control.
They
Yeah,
did.
sure.
They showed
They
self-control.
didn't act a fool. They didn't resist.
Right.
They kept their anger down, because that would have made me angry.
Oh,
Oh, somebody
I'd
have a
be
question?
Yeah. Rhonda Cooper says these young men's behavior changed the situation.
Yes.
'Cause that could have gotten
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah.
Because
Because
easily escalated. There were so many cops there. There was a lot of them. A lot more
Yeah.
than needed.
they are going to change things. Like, it's not just us that are frustrated. Even the lady who filmed it, a young white lady, she was like, this would have never happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I come in here all the time. I sit down. I do my work. This would have never happened to me. It's time, I appreciate, and I want to know your feelings on this.
Mm-hmm.
They're about to shut down 8,000 stores. 8,000 to have a racial bias training. Why do you have to train somebody to treat me with respect? How did that make you feel to know that, okay, that man's gonna take a major loss? Big ups, kudos to you, Mr. Starbucks, because to shut down 8,000 stores, okay, my $64 a week time a zillion.
At least 8,000.
Come on now.
At least 8,000.
8,000 stores. He's about to take a huge loss. But how did that make you feel to know, and I'll start with y'all because y'all young, that someone has to be trained to treat you like a human being, to treat you like an equal?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I really care less. You want to train them to try to treat me like an equal, that's all good. Like how I work, if you give me respect, I'm gonna give you respect. So if I walk into Starbucks and you feeling jumpy that day and you want to test me, you don't want to give me respect, I'm not gonna give you respect. They can train them all they want, but that person's gonna always be who they are.
But that's
Like,
the
if you're a
thing,
racist, you're gonna always be a racist.
That's right.
That's just facts.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like, if I was raised like to the same thing. If you give me respect, I'll give you respect. Now, you may not give my respect as in, like, if we're both out of uniforms, I will not mess with you. But if we're in uniforms, you're going to get that job respect because that's what I need to do to get my check. But the thing is, it's like, whether or not they need to learn how to have it, like, if it comes to me and I will teach you how to have respect so that way you know what to do when you're face to face with me.
I know.
What'd they say?
Jessica, Neil,
Uh-huh.
I was just thinking that culture training should be mandatory with jobs.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like last week.
Yeah, and he actually didn't say it was racial bias training. He only said bias, like as if you have the wrong outfit on. It should be
No,
racial bias.
he said, he said, what he called it, oh my God, I said I was going to write it down. He called it unconscious bias.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
That's what he
yeah,
called it.
Yeah.
Unconscious bias, which means you unconscious, because let's just say
It's
I'm
instilled
white,
in you.
Yeah.
and unconsciously I'm going to judge you or you by your appearance.
Mhm.
And I have,
facts. Everybody I do it. I do it to I'm black, I'm light skinned, but for some reason, I know for a while, blacks and Mexicans really didn't get along. I really don't know for what, but I just had something in my head that every time I see a Mexican, I just wasn't
it's programming.
Yeah, and as a female,
It's-
if I see a group of black guys, of course I'm gonna put my jacket over my butt and just,
It's
conservative.
programming.
But I feel like the first step is recognizing it, and that's where change can come in. But if you blatantly honestly just don't see it, there's a problem.
And who recognizes it and who makes the change, honestly, it's your generation.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
I
is.
just do what I do. How you said earlier when y'all used to tell me don't grow my hair out, don't do this, don't do that. I figured if we want respect, and I want respect for my generation and what I do, the type of music I like, then why should I have to change what
But
I
here's the
like, what I
thing,
do,
it's
just so you can like me? So I'm gonna do what I want.
It's
I'm
like,
gonna make sure I'm
I
not
feel like it's like, which you have every right to feel that way, but I feel like it's like, learn how to play the system first. That way when you get in the position to be able to be how you want to be, you can't get any backlash.
Come on, help the young man.
I don't mind. Actually, I encourage the
youth.
The training.
Yeah,
Because,
I do too.
I mean, at my job, we get trained all the time on certain things.
Yeah.
And it's not the obvious thing. It's the stuff that you might not remember. That okay, that happened in training, so let me do it this way. And it's not wrong with getting some kind of extra training that you would normally get.
to see my point of view. Oh, somebody said something?
Yeah. Your cousin, what I'm name a mess up all the time.
Oh, Pep. Just call
Yeah,
it Pep.
Pep says police officers get similar training. Go figure. And she said, what about the black police officer who was there? How do you think? How do you feel about the fact that there was a black police
And
officer?
he didn't
there?
say anything.
You know,
Yeah.
I had mentioned that earlier. I said, "Why come the black guy didn't say anything about it? He should have known something wasn't right just by his sense.
I'm
Should have
sorry,
known
it's
something
like-
that wasn't right."
Like, and
He's with his brothers, though.
Yeah.
I'm going towards
The blue
that where
colors,
like
I
I'm
know
gonna
they're
do the police
deeper than
academy, all that
that,
stuff,
yeah.
and I'm not pro, how they act in wrong situations, but it's like when you're in uniform, you're not acting as an individual. You're just it's your job. So like when you're being called for a complaint and they're telling you it is this, you have to act on what it is logged under. For you to act for trespassing, you look at what to do, rules for trespassing, you follow those rules. They didn't act crazy. They didn't pull out guns. They just came in there, accidentally pulled them out, and handcuffed them, because that's routine.
I saw-
for
I
them.
saw it
But they
different
didn't
than
even
that.
read their rights.
I saw it different.
Which-
It
that's where it
almost
comes
seemed
in,
like
that's
they didn't
problem.
really want to arrest him at first.
You did.
Some
That's
of
what
them,
it seemed
yeah,
like.
some of them.
Because when somebody want to arrest you, they're gonna arrest you. I've been stopped plenty of times just driving black.
And they have to
know?
over
Right.
aggressive. Yeah.
And it'll be 8,000 cops to show up just for me. Right. So I'm thinking, it looked like they did not want to arrest him and go through all the drama of what they did, and so it seemed like somebody else came and they arrested him.
Yeah. Because tell them about your situation. See, this is how they don't understand racism. They learn it. But racism is learned.
Right.
And those types of situations change you. Like, you want me to tell it?
I mean, I don't care.
No, let him tell it. Because I told him, I remember he called me that one of those days, and I was like, James, you need to put on your best white voice and get out of the
Yeah,
situation.
like-
But instead, he wanted to, start to mouth off, and that's why I like that they were calm, because me growing up and like being able to see that, now I know how to play the system for if I'm in that situation, I know how to act. Versus like if I would have seen them.
But
act
why
cool,
would you have
so-
to act?
That- and
Right, that's the
It's
thing.
for-
You shouldn't
I
even
just-
have to act.
You shouldn't, but since you do, people need to learn how.
The politics of
Yeah,
it.
they need to learn how to play the system
You're right.
again.
I mean, I do. Like, what happened to me, I went to go work out for football, and then some boys, they got into a fight while we working out, and the cops came, they questioning them, they got all them lined up on the curb, and then they come
Them
to
are
us.
the
Just a whole bunch of black boys that was fighting. I mean, it's the typical image, like, we in a rich white neighborhood, some stuff go down, black boys start fighting. So that's, everybody thought about it, and then cops came, pulled them to the curb. Me and my homies working out, we just trying to get ready for football, and they come question us. We like, we ain't do nothing. They're like, well, y'all need to leave. Well, I get in my car, I can't leave. We got the road blocked off. So I go over to ask them, when you know what I'm saying, when you gonna move your car so I can leave? Be like 3 hours. I'm like, I don't got that long. Like maybe 2, maybe when he started playing with me. So I get back in my car, then 3 officers walked up to my car while I'm in the car. One of them just yanks the door. He like, get out the car. So I unlocked the car, and then he yanked the door and pulled a gun out on me. He like, put your hands up. And I really wasn't scared. Like, I know I should be, because everything that's going on in the world, I don't know if he gonna shoot me or not, but just like I don't know. It's not good.
You knew
but-
that you weren't doing anything
Yeah, I
wrong.
know I wasn't doing nothing wrong,
Right.
so I really wasn't scared. So it was like, put your hands up. Put my hands up. And then one of the officers, he was cool. He came over. He was like, man, you good. Nothing gonna happen. We just gonna detain you. I'm in street law at school, so I know what that means. I'm like, I ain't do nothing. You don't have to detain me. I really can just sit back in my car. And then before he even said nothing, put the cuffs on me. And I'm over there by the police car, and he was like, you have to get in the back of the cop car. I was like, I'm not getting in the back of the cop car. Like, I'll be honest with you, I was nodding off. I was like, I'm not getting in that car. Like, I ain't doing nothing wrong. You're not finna make me get in the car. I've never been in the back of a police car in my life. Like, I'm not getting in one today. So then, officer came over. I think he was like he had like a SWAT badge on, so he may have been in SWAT. And he was just staring at me, and I was staring at him back. And then he was like, you got a problem? I was like, no, I'm chilling. Like, I ain't doing nothing. I'm finna go home soon. And then he was like, I can ban you from this neighborhood. And like, that day just kind of made me think, like, okay, I see what they gonna do now. I'm not even doing nothing. So I see how it is, but it just didn't scare me. Like,
For
I don't
them
know
to
why.
even handcuff you,
It's
detain you,
what they
and
did,
point a gun at you,
they
is
had,
absolutely
and this is the
ridiculous.
point I'm trying to make. They handcuffed him, put him in the back of the car, but his other counterparts were able to sit on the curb
Oh, yeah, they chilling
until
on the
every
curb.
the situation was over. it's sad that we have to act accordingly.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have to turn out that way. It didn't have to turn out that way.
And it's like
They shouldn't have.
it's like it always goes down to like everybody in that situation you have 100% the right to feel that way. But since you know the system is like set up against you, like again, learn how to play it. That way, like he could have said yes sir, yes ma'am, whatever. Got through the night. They want to put me in the car, put me in the car. Then as soon as you get out, that's when you take the legal standpoint or whatever you want, and you remember everything they did wrong since you got the class you're in. You remember what they did wrong, and then you know how to get back at them once you're on the other
Because
side.
Sandra Blaine knew her rights.
She was
Right.
right.
Sandra Blaine had a word for every word they had. And Sandra Blaine ended up dead. We have to, as America, as a people, as the human race, we have to do better.
And it's not cowardice
And
to
this,
wait.
I think, not only are we tired, the world is tired. They're tired of the fact that we have to have a bias training. Why? Why? Why judge me for my character, the content of my character, not the color of my skin? And let's be clear, we all different shades of black here, but I don't care how light you are, how dark you are. They look at us all the same.
I mean, we do it to ourselves though. Like I used to do it all the time. Like I have a homie, he dark skin. I'll be like, bro, I don't lie to you. This team light skin, son. Like it's just goofy stuff, but we did it.
But
it was
you
like,
know
okay.
the difference.
You're
It's
taught
crazy.
that.
I'm saying.
You're taught that. But when you get older, you'll learn the difference. Now let's go back to Starbucks. Because we digress.
It's so hard to stay
Because
on it.
let's explain why it's hard to stay on it.
Nothing said here. We take
Each
it hard to say.
situation sparks a different feeling. You know, every time you turn on the TV and something's happening, whether it's a young man or a young woman getting killed,
It's always
you got a question.
race-related.
Pep said, you can play the game and still die. Fidel Castillo.
Yeah. You know, or you see somebody being wrongfully arrested, you know,
You just don't know.
so every time something like this happens, it sparks in us as a people, whether it's black people, Puerto Rican people, or Asian people, the same emotion. It's like there's a sadness that's there that why are we still having this issue after all we've been through as a people? So my next question was, being that Starbucks is a franchise, who's responsible? Mr. Starbucks, the franchisee, or the manager?
I go out.
I
All
would
of
say the
them.
manager. She's the one that did it.
It's all of them.
That's tough though, low key. I feel what you're saying. That's
Because my
tough.
thing is, and I feel like when you went back, JJ, and you said that you can't change if you have that in your spirit, in your heart. That's how you are. Even if you have any kind of sensitivity training, and you all are saying like different types of training for race relations, or whether it's, you know, I don't judge you because how you dressed or whatever. It's still in the back of their minds, in their brains, and they're always gonna pinpoint us. They're gonna target us and say, "Yep, that's her right there. You know, she did it." Or, you know, and you may not have been involved, like in the football thing when you went to go to the gym. You weren't involved in it, but you still got held accountable for something that you did not do. And that's what everybody is not seeing. It's like we're not opening our eyes up and our minds up to say we were treated like this so many years ago, but it's coming back. It's coming back, and everybody think that it's coming back with a vengeance, and they think that everybody, it's like we're not progressing, we're digressing.
It feels like we're digressing.
Yeah.
And I mean, like real talk, I believe in like two things. Like one,
Speak up so they can hear you.
with like Starbucks, it's business. Like that's all they do. They think about money. It's a whole bunch of people, corporate, whatever it's called. They think about like, all right, we need to make this amount of money. If we're gonna close this many stores, we got to do this. So we got to make sure this and this is gonna good. Like the person who just started Starbucks, he had the choice to really like, all right, this is my company. I want to make sure everything goes good with my company. It's like Chick-fil-A. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A. Everybody like Chick-fil-A. Coworkers, the managers are always nice. You're never gonna have a problem. But you got Starbucks now. Everybody like, okay, it's Starbucks.
No,
Starbucks is
but-
all about
Go ahead,
that.
I wanna go back to with the guy who said that, you know, you can still play the system and end up killed, which is true. But here's the thing: it's like it shouldn't take for someone to get killed, but since that person played the system, we saw how much clapback it got. Like they were like, how can he still have ended up that way? He handled everything right, and that brought room for more change, which was needed. But it shouldn't take all that.
So why play the system? If you see people are playing
play the system, so you know, so people can see clearly how much you still get cheated.
People still dying though.
But
so,
here's the thing: those young men were so poised when they got arrested. They didn't perpetuate what the media says about us.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what the media, if somebody black does something, their face is all over the media, all over the news.
The worst
But
they got.
but if it's somebody white, no offense to my white brothers and sisters, I love y'all. We never see y'all on the news. Then if you do something like the man in Vegas who shot up Vegas, he was mentally disturbed. But if we do something, we're savages. We're animals. And we're not animals. If you cut me and we both get cut at the same time, we're both gonna bleed red.
Right.
Unless you gave somebody a kidney, we both got 2 kidneys. We both got a heart. You might have heart problems, but we all the same in the inside. So it is time for change. It is time for change. Which brings me to say, in the 1950s and 60s, the civil rights movement was born by great men and women who worked hard to abolish segregation and the Jim Crow laws. Let me explain what the Jim Crow laws are.
Oh, I know what they are.
The Jim Crow laws, we couldn't use their restrooms, we couldn't use their water fountains, we couldn't walk on the same sidewalk as them, we couldn't look them in the face.
Like
Couldn't own property in certain places.
And the Jim Crow laws were made because they gave us our freedom, so they tried to degrade us. And more important, we couldn't eat in the same restaurants as them at all.
Hotels.
Free if you really want to.
All hotels. So on October 19th, 1960, Dr. King and 51 others were arrested in Atlanta for refusing to leave their seats in the downtown department store's lunch counter. This was a movement started by 8 months ago, earlier, by 4 black college students at the Woolworths in Greensboro, North Carolina. And what I'm saying, they set for us. They got hosed down by water hoses for us, so we could have the liberties and the freedoms that we have now. But it feels like we don't have those freedoms and liberties because now the same thing is going on, just differently. They set for us. Now it's time for us to stand.
That's right.
It's time for us to stand for something. It's time for us to stand in dignity. It's time for us to stand in grace. We got to show people who do us wrong grace. What do we do now? Do we still boycott Starbucks? Do we still not drink coffee? Do we think that it was handled properly? And if we go back to drinking Starbucks, because I'm like, give me some international coffee in my Folgers and what's that other thing that Keurig? Let me start. Let me go. I'm gonna learn how to make a frappuccino at home. No disrespect, but it makes you pay attention to your dollar. I ain't got a lot of them, so now it's like, well, dang.
That's $6.
Maybe I was blowing that. You understand what I'm saying?
Now you're thinking about it.
You think about it. So let's stand for something. Know the power in your dollar. If you're going to spend your dollar somewhere, you make sure that place you spend your dollar treats you accordingly. And if you feel any tension, don't spend your dollar there. Because you're not going to come to me and get your hair done if I don't treat you well. That's just like you got the crappy hairstylist that treat you like crap, that every time you come, your price is different depending on what type of bill or what type of she want to do that night.
Yeah.
I got a lot of depends though, low key.
Well, how does it depend?
Alright, cause look, I'm gonna give you something real. Like,
Give me something real.
Michael Jordan, he said himself, like on the interview, his shoes
Were not made for
They
us.
were not made for black kids.
So
They was
why?
made for rich white
Okay,
kids.
here's the thing.
But think about how many people like Jay's. Like I promise you, he say that, and I guarantee you,
I don't
some
know if
Jay's
you feel
drop,
like that
I'm
now.
gonna get them.
Here's the thing.
I wouldn't
If you know this man, and then we're talking about, because racism and placism and classism is everywhere. It's not just with other people against us. We do it to each other. So if you know someone is not going to respect your dollar, why spend it? Question.
I've been getting comments back, and all of them are saying basically the same thing. They were talking about support a black-owned coffee shop. Use your dollars in black-owned to try to because you said, you know, our money it talks.
Yeah.
There's power in the dollar.
And I feel like that's how, honestly, that's how we got to where we are today with the Jim Crow laws being taken back and, like, you know, not still standing today. Is because it wasn't because, you know, these people genuinely had in their hearts, oh, this is bad what we're doing. It's because we disrupted their utopia that they had in their minds. Like,
they died
we
for us.
disrupted their space.
So how important is Black history to this generation
Opposed
that
to us.
we know are going to have to make the changes? How important is Black history?
It's really important. Like, I feel like even myself, like, we're learning about it more today in depth. Because when
Because
you're
of everything that's happening.
being in high school learning, it's not like if you're a high school student or elementary or whatever, look outwards. Like, go read and look out, reach out to
Search for
the older
yourself.
generation. Search for yourself because
You have to, because
they
they're not
do
being
not
taught.
they do not
It's not
expose
in
it really. Like, I'm 19 and just now learning that Columbus did not actually, like, discover that place. And I knew myself. I'm 9 sitting in the class like sideways like that. I was like,
I think that's
how
on
do you
purpose,
find
though.
people who
Yeah,
that's
listen?
on
You
purpose.
know,
Also
it is
history
on purpose.
teaching.
Yeah. that's on
Because
purpose.
back in the day, because I'm older, when we were in elementary and high school and junior high, we were taught Black history.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time my daughter got into high school, Black history was gone.
And they
And
speed
now
over
it's
it.
maybe
They
a
speed
week.
over it.
It may last
No,
a week.
let's
in
say when I
school.
was in high school, we didn't have it in high school, and I went to all Black high school.
See?
Right.
Because Black history was every day.
Yeah, we
Right,
learned
but I
that.
didn't know the history of it.
Right.
You know, I didn't actually take Black history. It was an elective in college, and that's when I took it.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know, and it changed how I thought. You know, what I thought I knew
Mm-hmm.
to what I know, and so I think it's important that people learn their own history.
So we going back to drinking coffee?
I mean, I'm gonna lie, it's tough though. Like,
Well, I mean,
but history and stuff like that.
Because
that's
we
just-
okay.
It's tough.
If
And
you don't-
a show of hands on everybody out there
Okay.
with the like button or the heart button. How many of y'all drink Starbucks? Like a lot. Hit the like, just hit it. Or y'all Starbucks drinkers?
I know I don't because I train.
We got any Starbucks drinkers out there?
They
But-
scared.
But no, come on now, keep it real.
I mean, I drink Starbucks. I haven't in a couple
Yeah.
weeks because I do both. I do the Keurig and the Starbucks. If I don't want to spend no money,
He drinks
I'm
Keurig
Keurig.
every day.
I don't want a Keurig. If I get a Keurig before I leave,
You good.
I'm good.
I
So-
feel like some people not gonna stop drinking Starbucks.
Well, they
'cause
don't
that's in
have
their
to.
routine.
But that's my
what they do.
question. Before everything happened, did you drink Starbucks? Hit the like button.
Oh yeah.
I drunk Starbucks. I think I will continually drink it. I mean, I don't drink it. I'm not a weekly $65,
I'm telling you,
spender
that's a
at
lot.
Starbucks.
Yeah, you gotta have
I
it.
might go. Yeah, that's a hat. I don't have hat.
So we don't have any more Starbucks drink. They done.
They are saying that they're not going to stop drinking.
No, but here's the
They're
thing.
going to
You don't
continue to
have
drink
to-
Starbucks.
I mean,
That's the last three
I think
comments
it was
that
a
we're going to
positive
still
step of him,
continue.
you know,
And my
doing what he did
Yeah.
in order to. It's a business move because it's
Yeah.
preserving his business, and now more people might actually go to Starbucks.
They're going to be
After-
cautious of how they're treated too.
Right.
They're going to be
Oh,
real.
yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Cracker Barrel. Remember Cracker Barrel?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's Cracker Barrel.
That's a restaurant that went through
Right.
the same thing, having
Really?
their managers treat their patrons with racial.
And,
You know,
but that's the
Cause-
thing. If you
Denny's too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Denny's
Right.
too.
Denny's
I don't know if it's more of maybe your hiring practice should be better.
Yeah, know who you're.
You know.
And that was my thing. It was like, do your research. But people they can fake the phone.
Yeah, you really
Okay.
can't.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
they-
if you're a great interviewer, but if you see, like, I went to Starbucks one time, and every time I've gone, the people who wait on me, they're really, really nice to me. I forgot my wallet one day. They gave me my coffee free. Christmas Day, I baked cookies there because they had to work. Let me just say this. When the hurricane came, Starbucks was closed more than 7 days in my neighborhood. And I said, I'm so sorry y'all were out of work. She's like, that's okay, because they paid us anyway. That's what makes me say, okay, I won't continue to boycott Starbucks. I gave up Starbucks for Lent, so it's not really that hard for me not to be on it. But what I'm saying is, can you hold accountable? It's like holding a whole race of people accountable for what one person does.
Yeah.
That was my argument all day today on Facebook on my personal page.
Yeah, that's like holding the whole company accountable for her foolishness. If they handled her according, like, boo boo, you got to go, you making us look bad, then yeah. So for the show of likes, click the like button if you think everything was handled properly. No,
I feel like there wasn't no other way to handle it, really.
Well, there's never a right way to handle it because it's more than just like.
I mean,
facts,
is it more?
it's
Like, is it
emotional.
okay? Is it a positive step towards?
Yes.
being okay?
Yes, I ain't gonna lie. Think about it like what happened with H&M and that coolest
man.
monkey
Oh,
shirt with
yeah.
the boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then what happened with this, like that. Them people probably wasn't thinking nothing of it. They probably was like, "Oh, it's a little nice, cute shirt."
The mother didn't even think anything of
Yeah,
it.
the mother was like, "Bro, it's
Yeah.
a shirt."
But I mean,
when we
who
saw
was
it,
in the market as far as that? It had to pass a lot of people before they said, "Okay, yeah,
And
we
nobody-
can
Yeah,
do
not
that."
one
where are your
person-
interns?
Yeah.
When you, where are the
Yeah.
interns when you be like,
Not one.
that
is like,
one black
community.
intern
Not
Yeah.
one.
that's
I'll be
in
real
the
with you.
room when y'all making decisions?
if I would
Say,
have
bro.
that shirt, like if I would have been in a room and bro to put that shirt on, I probably wouldn't have even thought too much of it. I probably would have been chilling like.
But that's where
Because
it
that's
comes-
your generation.
That's where it
Yeah.
comes down to where
Afterwards,
the
I'm like-
innocence part where you're
Right.
not looking for it because it's like you said, people can fake it till you make it, and that's why I feel like our generation we need to start looking
Paying
for it,
attention.
paying more attention.
And I feel like sometimes like we make it seem like, okay, it's like if somebody know, it's like a bully at school. If a bully know that every day he can come to school and say that you ugly and you gonna care and get mad about it, then they gonna keep doing it.
Mhm.
And then once like you like, okay, bro, I really don't care no more. They gonna leave you alone. They gonna stop doing it.
I mean, you're not paying attention to your phone and to
My bad, you not calling me.
I'll take it.
Now,
The
Yeah,
problem,
I feel
the
like we
problem
still
with what
care.
he's saying, if I may interject,
yes,
the problem with what he's saying is if you ignored it or go away,
it will not.
that the problem is just what I was telling you guys before. There's a blatant reality when you know that's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But when you're walking around with the sense that I have equal rights to everybody else, but in the back room and on the board tables they're doing something different,
Yeah.
then you're up against it's a disadvantage because you're not gonna work as
He
hard.
has a college calling him. Can you please excuse him?
Oh, he can definitely be excused for college. Yes.
So, what we just need as a country, as a culture of people, I think we need to stay prayerful because prayer changes things. But faith without works is dead. So I mean, in order for things to change, we have to change it. Our behaviors, you know. In some instances, we have to learn to agree to disagree, but know when to take a stand. It's time to stand for something.
Right.
One more thing.
Jessica said, look, the only way to change is to all of this is to create consequences and commit these companies and industry to them. We have to be consistent, affect their investment returns for a good 1 to 2 months, and business will be afraid to conduct business in that prejudiced manner.
Amen. Because when they stop riding the bus, they
Change.
stopped
It messed with their pockets.
in the 60s when they
Yes.
stopped riding the bus. They stopped riding the bus for a long
Yes.
time.
Almost bankrupt the
Not a
city.
week.
Yeah.
A long
And their pockets
time.
are their hearts. So if you want to get to their hearts, get to their pockets.
There
Yes.
you go.
And that's
Yes, there's power in the dollar. Thank you guys for tuning in. I've really felt like this was a topic that needed to be discussed. If you have any more topics, feel free to inbox me, put them in the comments section. Always get involved. I love you guys for that. Also, before I close it out, y'all see this lovely shirt. This is Incredible Screen Printing once again, and this is my sister's album cover. I'm gonna need y'all to go to Spotify or any music outlet and get that Grass is Greener. Also, big ups to my A-Leaf family, SWAT all day. You know I grew up in A-Leaf. And my boy Kenneth Sherrod, he had his grand opening. Let me just first say, I think it was last year, either last year or year before last. Remember we went to the restaurant? It burned down. And he reopened today in West Oaks Mall in the food court. Nevia's Plate is back open. It's open today. Go get you something to eat today if you can. What else? think that's about it.
Real escape.
Oh, don't forget about real estate. Plan your trip. Pray for our youth. They're going off to college.
Yeah.
And let's continue to keep. You wasn't talking to no college. You was talking to some girl or something. Get over here.
No, it's not. Hey.
He's about to graduate, so congratulations to him.
Yeah.
She was injured last year playing sports, and she's healed, and she's ready to go back. She's going off to college.
Go
She's
compete
going
for
to,
Worlds.
where you going?
Oklahoma City.
She's going to Oklahoma
All
City.
right.
Hey, U of H.
Yay.
Don't forget to laugh. Don't forget to love. Don't forget to be the light and always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm just saying. We're signing off. Oh, one more thing. We won't be on next Saturday. I'm going to a wedding. We'll be on next Sunday though at 5 o'clock. Where we will be talking about the Choir Chronicles Know Your Gift. We know we talk about singing a joyful noise unto the Lord. We ain't talking about that. The Choir Chronicles.
Oh my goodness.
Know your gift. God bless you. I love you. This is Mimi. I'm out.